Hello adventurers and welcome back to my channel. I'm getting ready to go on a hike and it's pretty chilly, so it's going to be interesting. I have on my sun shirt for an extra layer as well as a thermal, and then I wanted to put on my beanie to keep my head nice and warm. But without further ado, we are at Tonka State Park and we are about to go on the spring trail. The trail itself looks like this. This is from All Trails. It's just a little screenshot. It's about a little bit over a mile, and so it shouldn't be too bad. I am excited. This trail is a total of 1.5 miles. It should take us about a little bit over an hour, and there is an accessible section that's only about 0.4 miles. However, this one's a little bit different. See, we've been to Tonka State Park before and we visited the castle ruins. However, here you can actually see a vantage point of the old post office and store from the trailhead. This was a piece of the culture from 1895, and this small town used to be named Gunter, but then turned into Tonka, and it included the post office, a store, a hotel, and a school. And so at this trailhead, you can find all this information, but right there's the historic building. But we are going here. And that's why I was confused as to how this is accessible, because it starts off with some stairs. Now, as you can see, we're going to get down to the bottom of this little flight, and then the path will take off toward the loop, and then we will be off toward a beautiful spring at the bottom. Now, last time I was here, this trail was closed, so I'm very excited to show you guys what this is all about. This is going to be a fun one. It's going to be a brisk walk on a cool day, so let's get to it and have a good time here at Tonka. Now, if you are interested in this trail, it is available on All Trails, but along the way there's some interesting things, and I want to kind of highlight a few of them, like what's right in front of me. Very interesting. These two pillars don't have any contacts, they're just here. It looks like they come down maybe from what used to be an older staircase, but there's no sign. There's a little hook here. It's interesting. Along the way, the surfaces kind of change, and they have these built-in steps that have been created, but there are still uneven surfaces, so watch your step as you go. There are areas that have this hard pack, but it's a little older, and then there are areas that have these primitive boardwalks. So this is going to be interesting all the way down. Now, if you bring this up while you're hiking it, there's a blue and a white. I'm currently on the white. The white is the connector trail, so I'm kind of cutting across. And if you're on the blue, it's more up in this direction up here. I just wanted to get to the other side faster, so this is a little bit more primitive, I think, and rugged, but totally gonna be worth it. I'm so excited to share this with you guys. I wanted to get across faster because the weather is chilly and I'm losing some of the sun. So the longer that I'm out here, the darker it's gonna start getting. I'm here a little bit later in the day, but this is gonna be fabulous. So with that said, I'm gonna get on down this hill and get back to the bottom where the blue trail connects with the white connector. Ooh, this is definitely not one that is flat for sure. Ooh, these rocks are pretty crazy. And with the leaves, it's harder to see where they kind of drop off. So being very mindful of this. Aha, there's the blue trail. That's the accessible trail. Now, in all reality, is there a wrong or right way to see this as long as you're staying on one of the trails? No. You can do a little bit more challenging, or you can do something a little bit less challenging. And I think that's what's really nice about this. Okay, this is a little bit better. Still some steps, but much more smooth. Wow, the stones around this area are just so interesting. So as you're coming across this region, you can see all of these cliffs kind of with all the lichen and the moss. And some of them are covered in leaves, but the ones that are not and they're exposed, very neat. We've gotten to the boardwalk section here, and you can see right over here, it looks like a little natural dam that has been built up. Very neat. Here we are. This talks about the old mill. After the original mill was built on this site, it burned in 1836, and then a second one was built in this area also. And it was destroyed in 1931 to make room for the Lake of the Ozarks. Now, under this area, we have some information that helps us learn a little bit more about the water that sculpted the landscape of Tonka, but also some of the critters that you can find here. So take the time to check this out. It's a little harder to see on camera because of the glare, but it does explain how the karst structure works here, as well as all of the interesting animals. Now there's another trail that goes out from where I just came across and goes toward the island. And the island is this big piece over here. Apparently there's also something called an island cave. So at some point, maybe I'll come back and go on that one. But for now, we're on the accessible part of the trail now. Now, if you come in, this actually goes all the way around. And so you can get to some cool places just using the accessible trail. You don't have to go like on the connector like I did. That was kind of crazy. But at the same time, I don't think this accessible trail goes all the way back to where I came in. As we're exploring, this is the spring trail. It's beautiful. You can understand why the mill would have been put here, because this is where the waterway would have been. And because of that, that would have been an epicenter for the community, because they would have had access to this service, which would have been used for grinding down corn and other kinds of products. I learned also that these places were like the general stores. Everybody would congregate. They would hang out. They would meet up. It would be like a come to town kind of thing going to the mill. And because of that, there was lots of stuff going on constantly at these mills. But with that said, let's enjoy some nature. Oh wow, from down here you can see up to the castle ruins. That's part of it. And then also, I don't know what structure that is. Is that the tower maybe? I don't know, that's pretty cool. There's so many different birds out here I can hear everywhere. Different sounds, different chirps. This is definitely a nature haven here. And so if you're a bird watcher, you're gonna love this one. And again, there's an easier way to get here from the other side, but man, this is epic. Wow, look at this. This is just incredible, guys. The reflections on the water. There's more of the castle over the tree line there. You can see one of the tall chimneys. Ooh, just ahead we have a sign. This is why I wanted to get over to this side a little faster from where I was parked, so I could get to all of this, because this is the part that is so incredible. Okay, this talks about Tonka Spring, and it collects water in this area from over 100 square miles. Now this is Missouri's 12th largest spring, and you can find here all of the different critters that you might find in the water. Now as a result of them trying to take care of this area, they no longer allow you to swim here. In the past, I was told by locals that you used to be able to, but it is no longer available. They also have a few other interesting things here, including the karst topography that we were talking about, where you can see the sides of the mountainsides around and how those would be conducive to a cave system. They also have an old electric pump that you can find in this area that is a remnant from a past community that once was in this area. The daily flow here is 58 million gallons of water. So not only do you have the incredible views of the castle and the other beautiful things, but you have this incredible thing that you can learn about and all of the habitat that it creates. So with that said, we're going to get some more of these views in, and then we're going to walk down a little bit further, because you can see this boardwalk just keeps on going. right after another sign about the karsts, we're going through this little passage of rock, and it is so cool. But then we get back to boardwalk and then some stairs, and that's going to be the challenging part, is getting back out of here. But before we do, remember that pump we were talking about? This is from the mid 20th century, when this electric pump was used to supply drinking water to a cabin at the top of the hill. Just across from that is this interesting mound with a tree growing out and a gorgeous viewpoint. This is just absolutely incredible. We came from this direction. The castle is at the top of this bluff. And then as we move into this section, there's a really unique overlook right over here. So as we move closer, this is all recently rebuilt. This is why the trail was closed the last time I was here. They were working on this section. I appreciate when they maintain trails and make it better for us. It makes it even more cool. But this particular section, I was told, I have to come to just because this is where the water is the clearest. Now, being here a little later in the day, you can still see it, but when the sun is shining straight over, it is almost see-through in such a cool way. It has this bluish color tint to it, but you can see all the way to the bottom, and then all of a sudden it just drops off into this depth of dark, dark blue. Really neat. So that is right here, and you can see perfectly clear with that lighter colored stone underneath, and then it just dives into the depths of the blue abyss. Isn't that beautiful? But this is the part that's going to be a little bit difficult. We're going to be climbing 200 vertical feet using stairs. Lots and lots of stairs. So if you were to come to this trail and you were to turn to the right, that would have brought you down this staircase right here, all the way to this viewpoint as the first thing that you see. However, we took the connector trail down and ended up coming up from this direction. We're about to go on the stairs, and there's actually someone coming down right now, so we're going to ask them how it was. Of course, going down is always different than going up, so I'm sure it's going to be a lot of me huffing and puffing, but that's okay. It'll be an interesting process. Here we go, single step. We have begun. Now, 200 vertical feet of gain going through the stairs. That's why we brought the water. We got this. From each of these vantage points, you can definitely see more of the trail. This is gorgeous. It's totally going to be worth it, and this will give me a good rest at each top of the flight. You know, we've done a lot of stairs on this channel, and on the way to doing stairs, we've always found cool things. So, we'll take a flight, we'll take a break. We'll take a flight, we'll take a break. Oh wow, we also get to go down some stairs. Yeah, we got this. We got this. Every time I do something like this, it's like a huge accomplishment. And I get to take you guys with me, which is super cool. So down we go, and then probably up we go again. We worked up enough warmth doing stairs to take off the hat now. That's good. I made it to the top. I made it to the top. And now, in this direction, or in this direction, we have a flatter trail. Now we could go to the castle if we took a left, but we're gonna go back to the parking, so that's to the right. Bidding these stairs goodbye, and hello, easier trail. Now there are still some like roots and things in this trail, so be careful. Here it kind of looks like a split, but there is a blaze over here. So even though you probably could go that way, this is the correct direction. Also, I just saw a car. So the roadway is literally right in front of me right now. So I'm kind of thinking that when I went down the stairs earlier, this is gonna lead me back over there, but in a kind of interesting way. Either way though, I know where I am now. And I pulled up my all trail map just to make sure. Sure enough, we're good. Yep, there it is. That's the building that we saw earlier, right there. It's pretty bright in this direction, but there it is. And so this will take us right back to where we began. Whew. Now, typically, I like to do these trails during the fall to winter months because summer months, even though it's really pretty, snakes. And definitely this trail would probably have some. So instead, I take it during the time where they're less likely to have snakes because, you know, let's face it, no one wants to encounter that on an uneven surface when they're terrified and try to run. I'd probably end up down at the bottom, not in a pleasant way. Another thing, this is rated moderate. I would definitely say it is moderate. Wear good shoes and don't come without your preparedness items, aka your water. That said, these are the last few steps until we get to right here, which is where we started. It's definitely a rewarding trail. I'm happy that I went ahead and went down the connector because it is getting a little bit later in the day. Definitely worth it. However, I will say this, going down this side with the stairs probably would have been a little bit easier than coming up it. So do with that information what you will. Hey guys, I made it back to the van. Everything's looking good. I'm gonna get in and cool off and head off to my next destination. Remember, we're not here for a long time, but we are here for a good time. I'll see you guys next time. Bye. This place was epic.